Thank you to BetterHelp, Home Chef, and Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm one of your hosts, Becky. I'm joined by Maggie.
Hi.
We got Rainie on the ones and twos.
Hello.
Our sweet Matthew has a sinus infection, so he's not here with us today.
I know.
But we are very excited to bring you Maggie's honeymoon episode.
Recap.
We're going to find out all the things, all the questions that we had from before.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out if... all I remember is us talking about whether or not you were going to poop your pants.
Exactly.
So we're going to figure that out. And just a reminder, if you want to see these podcast episodes a day early and ad-free, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/tryguys. But first, we're going to play a little game. Maggie, I saw this on the Tickety Talk, and it was super adorable. It was with the trad wife, Queen Nara Smith.
Oh, wow.
Which... live, laugh, love. I don't know, man. I don't know. But they did, you have 5, well, they did 5 seconds. We'll do 10 seconds.
Okay.
You have 10 seconds to name the first things that come to your head. It's about like your favorites. But you only have 10 seconds.
Okay.
I keep saying 5. Yeah, that's 10 seconds.
I was like, you have 1 second to
It's
think of each.
fast.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay. So on the count of 3, what are your 5 best beauty products? Ready, set, go.
Okay. My Shiseido eyelash curler. It
Ooh.
broke on the trip. It was heartbreaking.
Maggie, you have 10 seconds.
Oh my God.
You have to list them.
Okay. Shiseido Roz air dry cream for my hair.
Love.
Very light. Next. What was the
Beauty products.
tinted sunscreen? Must.
Love.
Love sunscreen.
3. 2 more. Go, Maggie, go! What's in your hand?
The Summer Fridays Butter Balm.
4.
And then the NYX Fluff eyebrow like pencil pomade thing.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Ready, set, go. Your top 5 favorite smells.
Campfires.
Maggie, go! Go, Maggie!
What's the when the rain hits the ground?
Do.
No. It starts with a P, I think. Peeling oranges.
Peeling orange.
My grandma's pajamas.
Grandma's pajamas. 2 more, Maggie, go!
Onions and garlic sauteing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mise en place. Whatever it's called.
I thought mise en place was gathering your ingredients before. No? Anyway, baked apples.
A mirepoix. Baked apples.
Perfect. My grandma's pajamas. Very specific.
Okay. You ready for some more? Ready, set, go. Top 5 favorite books.
Oh, no. This one's going to take me a while. You go first. You're the book girly. I've only read
You gotta go.
Okay.
Go over your whole life.
My whole life.
Any book. Any book.
I just read Anxious People. Loved that.
Okay.
1. Harry Potter.
2. Fuck J.K. Rowling.
I know.
But we all love it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's so hard.
It's so
Fuck
hard.
that turf.
Oh, I'm not.
Come on, Maggie.
I can't do 2
Come
more.
on, Maggie.
High school reading
Have you
list?
not read Turtles All the Way Down yet?
I did read
You've
Turtles
had
All-
that book for like 3
I
years.
did have it. I read it before I watched the movie. It was so
Okay,
good.
that's your 3rd. Go, Maggie, go.
I don't know which other ones. God.
The dictionary.
The dictionary. The Bible. No, I'm just kidding. The Holy Bible.
The Holy Bible.
Fuck. I feel so uncultured right now. God.
What about like a magazine? What's your
A
favorite magazine?
magazine?
What's your favorite online website?
NYT Cooking.
Yes,
Perfect.
there we go.
Yes. Oh, that was it.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I was like, do not ask me for my favorite movies next. I will sweat.
That is a good one. I think that was.
I feel like
what
beauty products, like, I feel like books versus beauty products, it really gets you in the guttural. Like, I feel like people are going to judge you
Oh yeah,
based on movies and books. So that was hard.
yeah. It's like
But beauty
picking your
products,
favorite
I can just
children.
throw those in the air and people are like, yeah. But that was a lot of pressure. Okay, you go.
You need a breath.
I know.
Well, I feel like I've had time to think about it. You know what I
True.
mean? Because I looked at it.
That's true.
So it'd be cheating.
Yeah.
It'd be cheating.
It'd be cheating for sure.
Okay, well, that was a fun game. Do you need a minute to like decompress?
No, I want to hear yours.
You want me to do mine?
Yes.
But I've thought of them.
Oh.
I've had time. It's not going to be.
But I still want to hear what they are.
Okay.
Beauty products. Go 5.
Beauty
1.
products. Top 5. The Crown Affair leave-in conditioner.
Ooh.
1. Aquaphor.
2.
2. Gel builder manicures.
Oh.
3, Tan Lux self tanning lotion. 4, I know it's shocking. I self tan. Looking at me, you're like, where did it go, Becky? And then
You love lip stuff.
I do love lip stuff. Any lip product.
Any lip product. I
I'll
could
love
look
it.
haggard, but if my lips are moisturized, I feel like my full face is beat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, doesn't matter.
Favorite smells. 1111 perfume from Lake and Sky. Another 13 from Le Labo. This candle I just got called Rattan from Otherworld. The smell of Henry and the smell of Keith.
Oh.
I love those smells.
That's cute. That's sweet.
They're very like homey smells. Top 5 books. Right now I'm listening to, they're all going to be Emily Henry books because that's all I've been reading right now. Or Frida, I like her books. I forget
Which
what her
Emily
last name is.
Henry book is your favorite? Because
Well, I was literally just talking about that with Kaylin. Number 1, Funny Story. That
Okay.
was great. I'm listening to Happy Place right now, which I love.
where are you listening to it? Spotify? Is it on there?
No, it's Audible.
Oh, okay.
It's Audible, so I listen in the car. Frida McFadden's The Inmate. It's a thriller. Oh, Fourth Wing.
Oh.
So poorly written, but I love the story. And then I feel like I have to go look on my Kindle. Oh, I really liked this one series. This is totally against the
rules.
rules. You got to scream at me while I do it, Maggie. So it's even.
I know, mine is so like
So
calm.
it's even.
I'm like listening. I'm like, you have one more second.
Go. It's the Natural series. It's 100% written for children, but it's about these it's basically like teen criminal minds.
Ooh.
And I read the series in like a day.
That sounds fun.
So I would highly recommend that if you want to feel like smart. So you'll just be like, I'm so good at reading. It's for 14-year-olds. But those are my top
You know, we love
5.
a feel-good book, you know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like you need a good, like, easy book to get you out of a reading slump. Because I feel like if you do something like too hard, then you're like,
This is hard.
come on.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than a book that you can't. I've been trying to finish this one book called Divine Rivals. God, it'll never end. It's basically like a war story now. It was supposed to be about fantasy.
Oh.
But apparently it gets there. One of my girlfriends is reading it. So, well, that was our top 5 favorite things. Now we're going to do this one a little calmer. This is your recap on your honeymoon.
You have 5 seconds to recap your entire thing.
Go! Okay, Maggie, you're back from South Africa.
It's so, I want to go back already. I hate that we live so far. Why isn't teleportation a thing yet? Why does it take so long? So basically there's no direct flights. It is about we had to fly to New York first, so that was 5 hours. And then to get to Cape Town, it was 14 hours. So it's like a 20 trek in total, not including the time in advance to get to the airport, the transfers. Luckily, we did spend some time seeing family in New York, so that kind of broke up the trip anyway. So it was very nice. But we did an overnight flight from JFK that took off at 8 p.m., and then we flew, jumped 9 hours in the future, and then arrived in South Africa at, I think, 5 or 6 p.m.
That's not terrible because then you can like jump into the night. I feel like when you get there at like, got there at like 6 a.m.
Brutal. And then you have to stay up the entire time to kind of self-correct. It was, coming back was definitely a lot harder than going forward because we jumped backwards 9 hours and trying to, I think we landed... Anyway, we'll get you had to stay a lot longer coming backwards, and that was rough. And Zach ended up taking a nap, and I was responsible for making sure he was awake because I feel like in that point, someone needs to be awake to make sure. Because we'll just snooze, and then we'll wake up at 7 all confused. So I was able to like punch him and be like, wake up! It's time to do laundry. But we landed... We had a very nice dinner.
And so this is in Cape Town.
So we landed in Cape Town, and we actually, the way the trip worked out was actually we did Winelands, which was like a 45-minute trek from the airport, which is like 30 to an hour from Cape Town, depending on traffic. We did the Winelands first.
What is the Winelands?
So it's basically to compare it to something you're familiar to, it's just wine country there. So it's like their Paso Robles, their Napa Valley.
Oh, okay.
We stayed at a hotel called Babylon Storen. Dutch architecture, very farm to table, very cute. Everything was made there. There was so much crudité, so much raw carrots and vegetables, everything that they grew there. There were a lot of different activities. We were a little worried going to Winetown. Zach's not a big drinker.
Oh, yeah.
I will have like a glass or two occasionally, but we were like, I don't know how we feel about doing an entire few days there like that. We're going to run out of activities to do. They had an olive oil experience that we did. They had bread baking. We got to meet like baby water buffalo that we got to nurse and things, and we gave him a name called Bowie. They had like mountain little toys. So there was just like a lot of activities on site to do. We actually also did like a wine tour day. We went to different wineries. Apparently there's a train that you can take, but we just kind of booped around based on like recommendations from friends.
Did you guys drive when you were there, or
Absolutely not? Yeah. No, we could have tried because Zach definitely did when we were in Australia, and they drive on the right side of the road, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
But this one was we just didn't. No. Yeah. Even though it was a little bit like Winelands, there wasn't as much traffic as Cape Town because Cape Town's an actual city center. We just had transport coordinated for us, and that was a lot easier. And we stayed mostly on site, so it was great. But it was magical. So much citrus, so many fresh ingredients. We explored an area called Stellenbosch, which is, I think, the second oldest city in Cape Town, or in like that area.
So how long did you stay in the Winelands?
We stayed there for actually 4 nights because there was a little hotel special where you stay 3 nights and you get the 4th free because it was their dry winter season there.
Oh, okay.
So they had less people there and like we're trying to incentivize people to stay. So we actually, it was end of August, so that was their special then. And then we did 2 nights in Cape Town because Cape Town is known to have very rainy weather, and we knew it was going to be a hit or miss on whether or not we would have favorable weather because we wanted to do like the Cape Peninsula tour and like be outside as much as we could, but we know that sometimes the weather's just the weather. So we did 2 nights there. We actually...
Was it raining? Did it end up raining?
It ended up raining lightly one of the days that we were there, but we actually took our Cape Peninsula tour while we were staying in wine country and just drove the 45 minutes and did it the day it was sunny. We like looked at the weather and we're like, okay, it may be a little cloudy this day, so I think we should time our Cape Peninsula tour for this day. So we actually just left Winelands for a good majority of the day and just came back.
Oh, okay, nice. And then when you were done in Cape Town, that's when you went on safari. That was the bulk of the trip, the purpose of the trip, to see the quote-unquote animals.
Animals. There were a lot more animals in Cape Town that I had anticipated. So when we did the Cape Peninsula tour, we obviously went to Boulder Beach, which is where penguins live, African penguins. Yeah, which that never dawned on me at all whatsoever.
I guess
like, what are they doing
down
there?
Or wait, yeah, Madagascar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what the movie's called?
Yeah,
Penguins
Madagascar.
Yeah.
So there's African penguins on that southern tip of Africa, and it was magical. They are endangered due to climate change and things like that. But it was
humans. We've all seen Happy Feet.
Yeah.
Due to humans.
And Zach and I always think to ourselves when we were in grade school, I mean, emperor penguins are not native to this area whatsoever, but we both thought that emperor penguins and African penguins were going to be a lot bigger. Emperors being 6 feet tall and African penguins being like, I don't know, 3 feet.
Yeah.
Oh,
and when we saw them, they're little and they're so cute.
Oh my gosh.
They were like waddling up the sand, and I was like, Zach, I hope we see one toboggan. We didn't see one toboggan, but it was still like equally exciting to see them just hanging out.
Yeah. How close do you get to them? Are they like chickens in Hawaii? Like, are they just like wandering around?
Definitely don't want to get too close. We actually viewed them from like this little pier overlooking sand situation. So we were elevated. So we gave them enough space. But when you're walking along the pathway, sometimes they're in the bushes and trees to get over there, like hanging out in the shade. And they don't seem very bothered by humans.
Whoa.
Granted, I didn't try and get too close. We also saw ostriches along the coastline, which was crazy for me to see. I was like, there's just so much wildlife here. And we saw baboons.
Oh,
Baboons. They come into stores if you leave things out, and like restaurants and things like that. So you have to like make sure if you're ever staying there, you close everything because they're very curious.
They're like, what you got? Looks good.
Yeah.
The baboon's like, I'm on my honeymoon too.
Exactly. And like we saw impala along the coastline as well. It was just it was beautiful. We all dread the question, what should we have for dinner? And all to inevitably order just the same thing that you're always ordering. It's just the easier option in my household, but it's never really satisfying, and I always end up spending way too much money on fast food each week. So if you'd rather enjoy a home-cooked meal without all the stress of planning ahead, Home Chef makes it very easy and saves you time and money. Home Chef provides fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently delivered to your doorstep. Home Chef has you and the entire family covered for delicious meals without the hassle. I love having oven-ready meals ready to go, especially after a long day at work. They have over 30 options a week and serve a variety of dietary needs, so you don't have to worry about what to make ahead of time. And Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life, and of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/sitwithus. That's homechef.com/sitwithus for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard that right. homechef.com/sitwithus. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. I've been on a big gardening kick recently. A lot of my plants have not been doing well with the California heat wave that was going on, so I've just been trying to learn and get better at it. Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, this definitely becomes harder and we lose some of that curiosity. And therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come at any age. We love therapy here at You Can Sit With Us. I love having a non-biased opinion kind of help talk me through some of my stressors going on. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/sitwithus today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sitwithus. I was not expecting, because growing up close to the coastline, and I was just like, I've seen a coastline. I'm sure I wasn't, not that I wasn't excited. I was just like, oh, we got to do the Cape Peninsula tour over there. It was stunning. We went there during sunset. We went to a place called like Chapman's Peak and watched sunset together, and it was unbelievable.
Oh,
the drive
so
up.
pretty.
It was so beautiful.
Zach was telling me about the speakeasy and the China shop.
Oh, yes.
The speakeasy was intricate.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the
What was the
speakeasy
speakeasy?
was a recommendation from one of our guides, and we had gone and texted the number, and they ended up sending us the address like at 9 p.m. And it was very much like you go
Spooky.
and then you have to kind of like say what the password is, and they'll send you the address, and it's always moving and things like that.
What was the password?
Always
what the password
moving.
was?
Zach got WhatsApped it, so it was like some sort of, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't on my phone, but he had to make sure he said the password. But there was also a storyline, and Zach, it was basically, he's like, I don't know how I feel about this storyline, because it was basically the wife cheating on her husband. Maybe we'll cut this out as well. But the wife cheating on the husband, it's like, Charlie doesn't like when I talk to other men. La, la, la. And then like, this is the passcode. This is the address. And a man with
that's
like
so
a
funny.
baseball bat comes and like leads us into the speakeasy. And we go in and we heard live jazz music. We heard Pata Pata
fun.
on saxophone, which is one of our favorite South African songs. It was very cool. And they basically asked me what my drink vibe was, which I told them. I was like, I like mezcal, I like tequila, I like things that are spicy. And I ended up getting a very savory drink with noodles in it. And it came in like a to-go takeout container.
Noodles?
It was very surprising.
Alcoholic noodles?
I don't know.
Did you eat them?
I got freaked out. I was not expecting a noodle. So I got the takeout container. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I drink it and I'm like, Zach, there's something in the straw. I was like, I think there's like a bug in here. And I was like, oh, wait, it's a takeout container. And then I like stirred it around. I was like, there's a noodle in here.
But
it was very like shocking to have like something in the straw that's not either boba, ice, or like mint. I was like,
what did it taste like?
Savory. It tasted like
food
liquid
savory
smoke.
Okay, like liquid smoke.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it was just like a savory drink. And then Zach got some sort of sour, and they use chickpea rind as the egg white substitute to be a little bit more inclusive to people who don't like vegans and things like that, which I thought was genius. I've never thought to use chickpea rind.
Yeah.
I've never used it in a cocktail. And a takeaway. I'm gonna try it.
You can also use it as a vegan substitute for eggs and like baking.
I've always used the flaxseed.
Yeah,
thing.
the soaking the flax seeds.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then there was like one of the days while we were like kind of touring the coastline and everything like that, we went day shopping and went to a bunch of Chotsky shops. But there was an animal thrift store that like benefited the local animal shelter, and it had 13 different rooms of porcelain, like china, teacups, and things like that.
And it should not be allowed in a store like that.
And on and on. And
With
Zach
the
was
way
like,
you bump into things.
Becky, I have a video for you. I did not want to go in, and I was holding like a giant tote that day full of like all my things. Like I had a puffer, I had a camera, I had my wallet, I had a water bottle. Like I had my Mary Poppins bag, I had myself, and I was like, Zach, I'm not going in there. He's like, you have to come in here. I gotta show you the video, and you can explain.
Did you learn
what's happening.
if you break it, you buy it? Lesson while you were there?
So, hold on, I'm gonna start. You can just explain to them what you're seeing. But this is the china shop.
Oh my gosh, it looks like a grandma's like house. The walls are painted like purple, and then there's just china. There's literally china on the floor.
Yes.
Like it is
corner to corner.
How many? And the walls are all different colors. That's really cute. Oh my God, the cups are like stacked on each other. I don't know. Oh, and a penguin. Sorry, I saw your penguin video. Yeah, I don't know how they allowed you in there, Maggie, with your
Did you see my face?
aptitude. Oh, I see the one. It wasn't the first one you showed me, was just a picture.
Oh, I did.
Maggie is terrified. Maggie is making herself as small as possible.
I was like, we are two clumsy hoes.
Yeah.
We cannot be in here. But we'll definitely post that on some point so everyone can
That's
see.
funny.
It was impressive.
Yeah, honestly, go to our tripod Instagram, and we'll post it there.
Yeah. It was.
There we go.
Yeah. But it was just 13 rooms, and Zach was like, you have to come and see it. Because we kind of separated at some point and just kind of started going into other stores and seeing how much we could divide and conquer and be like, come in here.
Did you get any souvenirs to bring back?
We didn't have enough room in our suitcases.
yeah.
We only had like so much room and like tried to pack down. Zach wanted to go shopping at the end of it, so we only had limited space. We brought some things home. We got some fresh olives that were canned and like sealed and vacuum sealed. So we brought those back. Lots of clothes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But
How's the food in general? Were there any standouts? What sort of flavor palette? What did you notice? Was it different than?
So the food was incredible. Never got sick once, which anytime you're traveling, you're eating things that your body's not normally used to eating. And sometimes you can throw you off, even though if there's nothing wrong with the food. Never got sick once.
And even just having food, like vegetables that are washed in water that your microbiome is not used to having.
Yeah. And it was delicious. Everything I ate there was standout.
What was your favorite thing that you ate?
Favorite thing I ate on the trip?
Or just in Cape Town.
In Cape Town.
We'll narrow it down.
We did a tasting menu, and I am usually like, when I have tasting menus, I'm like, that was good. But a lot of the time, they're such tiny little portions. They're not like something I super remember.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, I was like, that was very inventive. It was South African influenced by way of Japan was the way the chef described it, and it was phenomenal. It was at a restaurant called Finn, and it was amazing. We had like a mushroom custard.
Oh.
And they were able to just modify a couple things to meet Zach's and I's dietary restriction, which is tough, especially with a tasting menu, because a lot of the times they do use dairy and lactose. But it was so good. I don't know what else to describe it, but it's a seasonal menu, so it's ever changing. It has Michelin stars. They book like many months in advance.
Oh, dang.
And I accidentally, for some reason, booked it for a month later than we were supposed to be there. I think I meant to book it for like August 24th, and I like booked it like many months down the road. And I like looked at my email and I was heartbroken.
But they were able to change it?
He was put on a wait list, and then they ended up calling us for like the beginning of when the restaurant opened one of the days that we were there. And we fortunately, were able to get in.
Oh, nice.
So it was really cool.
Yeah, how were the modifications for Zach, especially since he can't do like peppers and things like that? I mean, luckily they speak English, so it's not as difficult as probably like Greece was trying to explain.
For sure.
Why you can't eat one of the most like popular foods or vegetables that they
and there's
use.
so many different names for red pepper, and people just assume
capsicum.
Because he's a white man, it's just like he can't have spicy. And I'm like, no, it's a true allergy. It's like the skin. It's capsicum, paprika, red bell pepper. Please no. But he fared really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we were really nervous, especially going to Kruger, that we thought we were going to be eating turkey sandwiches. Like, we would have been happy. If
For
we're
the safari?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, I don't know, we're just going on 2 safaris a day. I'm imagining that we're going to be somewhere very far away from grocery stores and things like that, which we were. But the food was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Every single thing that we had was incredible. Zach's not used to having dessert ever. And if he does, it's like a gelato or, I don't know, just like a vegan cookie. They were incredible, made him just like passion fruit, like cheesecakes and things. Like, he had a vegan treat at every single meal for 4 days when we were doing safari. And he was the happiest little clam. He's like, I got a vegan treat like for breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Dang.
Vegan treats.
Do you have to bring the food on safari? Okay, so we're skipping ahead. So you go to safari and you have to go into this national park, and then your hotel is in the national park?
It's not, I think it's not, it was a private reserve with open borders to the national park. I believe it's in the national. We were in, I don't think we were in the national park proper though.
Oh, okay. Gotcha,
but we are connected to it.
Yeah.
And are in the general vicinity because it's huge.
Yeah.
When we flew into the airport, the local airport there, it was still a 2-hour drive from the airport to get to our destination.
Dang.
It was wild.
So you go on your bumpy ride.
Yes.
You check in your hotel.
Yes.
And safari. How do you safari? What is safari? I must know. I only see pictures and videos.
It was...
Explain a day on the safari to us.
Okay. So when we arrived, we luckily made it in time for the later safari. So there's 2 safaris a day. Oh. The first one, depending on sunrise and sunset, we were there during their dry end of winter. Oh. So the landscape is looking a little crispy. It's looking a little dry, but this is great for animal viewing. And you can see animals all times of the year, but we were told, and Zach's sister had gone the year prior and was like, this was great. You want to go. I'm sure spring looks completely different. It's more lush. It's more beautiful. But the point of year that we went, you can see more animals drinking by the rivers at night, at sunset and dusk. Which was very cool. But basically, there's 2 safaris a day. We would wake up at 6 a.m. and I think we'd be out onto the vehicle by 6:30. We would eat breakfast after. They're 3-hour-long safaris each time. It felt like 30 minutes to me each time. Wow. And it felt like an adventure. And you were seeing new things. Like, even if we were seeing elephants for like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th time, it was always a different experience, and it was just so magical.
So you were on your honeymoon, obviously. Did they do anything for it being your honeymoon, like rose petal hearts?
Every single place that we went to did something on the first night, which was very adorable. But by the second time it happened, because everyone was talking about being very demure, very mindful, I would not allow Zach to just like throw the rose petals on the ground. So he started getting upset, and he was like, "I'm so tired," because when you're on vacation, you really maximize each day. You're like up early, doing everything you can, trying to absorb so much. And then because of it, we just come back to the hotel ready to crash. And there'd be like rose petals and towel swans on our bed and things like that. And Zach was like, "I just want to go to bed and you're making me clean." I was like, "No, we just can't throw them all over the ground." So we'd collect them into a little basket, being very mindful, being very demure. But Zach at a certain point wanted to call the front desk, not jokingly. He like pretended to call the front desk. He's like, "Hi, yes, will someone be here to clean up the rose petals?" And we're like, "You cannot.
You're supposed to take them home and press them in a book."
That's so smart. But you're not supposed to bring live plants.
Don't actually do that.
That's very cute. But yes, we got pampered. It was definitely worth the wait, even though we got married like a year and a half ago. I definitely highly recommend Safari if you can ever do it. It is amazing. It is worth the trek. It is so far, but it like when you're out there, nothing else matters. You feel so small in this giant world. I want to talk more about Safari though, but I'm not like closing out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, tell us more. I was like, Maggie, we've only been recording for 30 minutes.
I know, you better juice this one.
And make sure to wash your hands. Okay, so you're on Safari. There's it's 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night.
Right.
So there's times it leaves.
2 times a day. And the very first day that we got there around 1. So we did have time for the afternoon safari. And Zach was like, "Can you imagine if we were the type of travelers that were like, we're really tired from the airport. We're just going to hang out by the pool. Like, what happens if I was a traveler like that and Zach wasn't?" He's like, "I would leave you. Goodbye." No. But we like got our stuff all together. We like wrestled with our suitcases, opened them up, got our safari gear on.
Which was?
So very different night and day. The time of year, it was very, very cold. Not super cold. I was chilly in the mornings and then super hot while we were there, which is very uncommon. For like, there was like a little bit of a heat wave while we were there at night. So the evening safaris, I was wearing sandals, shorts, tank top. In the morning, I was wearing puffers, layers, pants.
Whoa.
Yeah. But every single time, we basically got asked the very first day, like, "What do you want to see?" And we obviously wanted to see the big 5, which included elephants, lions, buffalo, rhino, and leopards.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Cheetahs are rarely seen
Interesting.
in the area that we were there, even though I was like, "I want to see cheetahs." So we were asked, like, what do you want to see? I was like, well, obviously big cats. We want to see big cats. Yeah. So the very first day, there is a tracker that will sit in the very front of the vehicle. Not in the vehicle, but there's like a little chair that's outside kind of near the front bumper. He's responsible for looking at animal droppings and footprints. Very fascinating because sometimes there's wind, but he can tell like, oh, this is a recent paw print. You can see there's a giraffe here. So I think that they were like running after a giraffe and then their paw prints disappear because there's obviously path of least resistance where the cars go and there's like little trails, but then that you can off-road, which was common where we stayed specifically. In other parts of the park, you only can stay on the roads.
Oh, got you.
So the very first day, our tracker was like, "I'm going to look at these tracks and kind of see where they lead." And so he disappears for a little bit and I am stressed, but obviously
he gets out of the car?
He gets out of the car and like leaves us for, I want to say it felt like 20 minutes. It was probably no more than like 5 to 8 minutes at most. But we're circling around and so our guide and the tracker have a discussion. They're like, "Okay, I'm going to circle around with the guests and then we'll meet you on the other side." So we do and we don't see him. I was like, where is he? And usually he would take a walkie, but I think that the decision was made kind of quickly and he just like went off and he they're professionals. He can use his ears. He's been doing this for years. So I don't know why I was stressed. Unless they're stressed, I should just sit in the back and be quiet. But anyways, he ended up finding a male solo lion. I guess they get kicked out of their prides if they become overly dominant and start tussling with the dominant older males. And basically, he was like at a drainage hole and drinking water, and our tracker walks up, and the lion just kind of growls, and he backs up, and he like goes back to our truck, and he's like, he's over here. So we ended up, basically, we were going at like a leisurely pace, and then our guide, we start just booking it. And we start booking.
I feel like if a lion growls at you, you're like, bye.
Well, we weren't close to the lion by the time our tracker got back to us, but we wanted to find the lion. So we start booking it to where the lion. To the lion, yes. And I was very scared. And
is this you got out of the car?
No.
Or you're in the car?
We are in the car. So the rules for the safari is you never shout. You don't yell at the animals. You're not allowed to stand. You do not run. If you run, you're prey. Their prey drive kicks in, your food.
Oh my god.
So you stay in the car.
And you have to sit. Yeah, you don't stand up.
You do not stand up. Yeah, you stay in the vehicle. They're
much like Disney World.
Exactly. Hands and arms inside the vehicle. But we're going kind of through thick brush. We're covering ourselves with blankies because it gets a little thick kind of where these animals like to hide. They camouflage perfectly with the surrounding environment. We finally get to him, and he doesn't seem like he's super. We ended up seeing a lion pride the following day or two, and they are very habituated to the trucks. Like they'll kind of wake up, and they are more active at night. So during the day, they kind of like, oh, there's a loud noise and there's all these crunchies, and they'll look at us, and then they go back to natural behavior. They fall asleep. They're on their backs. They're rolling around.
Whoa.
But they are not bothered by the trucks. But this was my first time being this close to a lion. I was freaking out. And so we find him, and he's just laying around. We have photos with him, which was like very exciting, but just like the chase itself was a thrill. And then there was 2 vans. So basically they're 3 seats by 3 rows, and then obviously the driver with a passenger, and then the tracker in front. And they have walkies to the other van. And so they like compare notes. They're like, hi, I'm over here on this side, because there's a lot of ground to cover. But they don't use any sort of drones. I know certain parts I was told will use drones, but that kind of takes the fun out of it. I feel like that sound too could be alarming for animals as well. But something I wasn't expecting. I went in not being terrified of elephants. I am terrified of elephants now. Oh. I feel like wild African elephants, or just elephants in general, wild elephants, they're scary.
Yeah.
And what makes them scary? They're just huge.
They're big.
They're big. Yeah. They're big. And when they are matriarchal societies. So there's like a head lady boss,
Yay.
Which we love.
Yeah.
But anytime
hopefully like we'll have soon.
Yes.
But anytime there's like a car passing and there's more than, I want to say, 10 of them, it's very intimidating because they're just tons heavy. Mm-hmm. And there was one point where we were like turning a corner and we didn't know like an entire family. Like we had seen solo male elephants. Like males will often go off on their own, maybe join other little groups and families and mate. But then typically all the women stay together, protect the babies, put them in the center because obviously lions and leopards will not go after big adult male and female elephants.
They'll just destroy
them. They'll stomp. But what they do want is their babies. So they're obviously very protective of their babies and their youngs. But there was one time we were turning a corner and we didn't see them, and the elephant kind of flapped its ears, and we were like, oh, we came a little too hot, so we just put it in reverse, and then we like came and gave it space, and then it crossed, and it was all fine. When they're in a group of a large amount and that happens, it's kind of very stressful because a lot of the times you there's one main road and you kind of have to go off road to get around them. But sometimes there was one time when there was 40 of them. And I was like, where are we going to go?
Oh my God.
And they eat a lot of trees. And like when you're going through kind of like the landscape, you just see all these, it looks like a drunk elephant just like went through, and they like will vegetate on like a lot of the leaves and the barks and peel and things like that. So that's
40 is a lot.
40 is a lot. I know. In my head, I was like, I also had like 9 or 10 in my head.
Yeah.
But 40 is
like
a lot.
Class.
Did you see any like Circle of Life, aka like Wild Planet type things happen? Like I feel like whenever I watch those nature videos, I'm always waiting. Like I'm like, you're showing me this beautiful little penguin, and I know it's the way nature works, but I don't want to get to know this penguin before you tell me what happened to him. Was there anything like that?
Well, there was one day where it was the place that we were at only had 6 rooms. Whoa. So it felt like a very personalized experience. And the day we were this was the day before we were leaving. Zach and I were like it felt like we were the only people on the property. There was another couple there. They were taking a nap because it was between safari and their very early mornings. The rest of the staff was prepping for a large group of like 19 people to arrive the following day. So they were off doing stuff. So Zach and I were just like at the pool by ourselves. And all of a sudden we see multiple families of elephants coming down the river, which was kind of the pool overlooked the river. We're like, oh my God, I think they're going to be approaching our room. So we run back, we leave all our stuff, and we go to our room and we watch them for 45 minutes make their way down the river. It was a relatively hot day. And we see, I saw maybe like a month-old baby elephant nursing a mama. I saw with my binoculars. I was like, this is amazing. They get closer. I see not mom, but it seemed like another probably woman teaching the baby kind of how to splash mud on itself, how to cool down. It's very hard once they get older because of their organs to lay down. And the baby was like laying down, and like one of the family members is like getting on the knees and being like, this is how you do it. This is how you splash yourself. This is how you cool down. This is how you protect your skin. It was literally out of this world. I was like sobbing. I was like, this is so beautiful. So we're watching them for 45 minutes in awe, just amazing. And then they start to pass our room and they're approaching the pool back where we initially saw them. So we're like, let's go to the pool. This is going to be amazing. We can float in the pool.
I'm so scared.
It's going to be so great. So I get in the pool. Very Jim Gore, very mindful. It is a very cold pool. They did not heat it whatsoever, but it's a hot day. So I get in. No big deal. Very polite about it. Zach, on the other hand, was like, Maggie, I am a baby, and in order for me to get in this pool, I have to do like a breaststroke, and it's going to be a whole thing. But just bear with me. Look away. It may give you the ick, but I must get in this way. And I was like, I just have to be all in, nothing. But we're really excited to float and just continue watching these elephants. So he gets in, and the displacement of water and him entering this pool causes a crash. Because the drainage, and it's like kind of like an infinity pool overlooking this little river, crashes down and scares one of the elephants because it's a loud sound.
Yeah.
So these elephants don't just we thought they were just going to move a little bit and get some space. No, when one starts running, they are fully exiting the river. They're running for miles. The same baby elephant that I watched for 45 minutes nursing its mother, being so cute and adorable, I saw run for its life.
Zach was the alpha predator. They were scared. They were like, this hairy little man's gonna get us.
So they start running, and I saw it's running with all its might. It was the most heartbreaking scene I've ever witnessed in my whole life. And Zach and I's jaw are on the ground. And I look at him, I was like, I know this is our honeymoon, but we are divorced. Divorced. But it was
of divorce. Elephant stampede.
And elephants they never forget.
They have memories. They know.
Never
They're like fucking crows.
I was
they
like,
know.
if these elephants never come back to the river, you're in trouble. At dinner, we saw more elephants at the river. Don't worry, guys. They came back. I don't know if it was the same family, but don't worry. It's okay. We forgave Zach. But it was so funny. I was like, oh, they're just going to leave for a second. Nope. Gone. Exit. Bye. And it was miles, like the river is miles long. And they typically, on hot days like that, will not go along the river like they were going because they'll run into, there's people or animals will usually go to the river, drink, and then leave. Because if you are walking along the river, chances are you will run into maybe something that you don't want to run into. Managing finances can feel complicated and time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be. Rocket Money simplifies everything, making it so easy to see exactly what's happening with your finances, track your spending, and give you full control of all of it right from your phone. And I actually recently used Rocket Money, and they were able to find 2 photo editing apps that I just had completely forgotten about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. I also love that they have a dashboard to easily create budgets with custom categories and help keep your spending on track. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/sitwithus. That's rocketmoney.com/sitwithus. rocketmoney.com/sitwithus.
So in terms of like, you talked about the elephants getting kicked out. There's a lot of drama in the animal kingdom. Like a lot of cliques, a lot of, so like, tell me about like the lions also get kicked out, but for different reasons, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess the same thing with, they're both matriarchal in that like the women run everything. I know in lion prides, women are typically the ones that hunt. But the males, the dominant males are usually the first ones to eat. I guess it has to do.
Typical.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
That feels right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, male lions. Okay.
Okay.
Enjoy your food.
Yeah. So elephants matriarchal, lion prides matriarchal. The male lions will eat first, and there's usually like a few. There's like the one main dominant male and like a few others, but they like come and go. Like they're only a part of like the lion pride for like 2 to 3 years, is from what I was told.
Deadbeats. Deadbeat lions.
Yeah. And then they
and all the women help raise the children together.
Oh,
and it's like a joint effort. Beautiful.
Beautiful village.
Yeah.
Wait, so they
hunt. Usually, male lions do hunt as well, but they are usually solo hunters, and they usually will ambush. I think it's because their manes, especially if they're more dominant and have more testosterone, their manes are darker. So like anytime there's like
easier to see,
there's black in their mane, that usually means they have higher testosterone than a male that doesn't. That's like sandy brown. And the older they get, obviously, there's more testosterone and things like that, from what they told me in the animal kingdom.
Interesting.
That is really interesting.
And it was interesting, too, that they are in Lion King, and like what we're told is that they are like, they're the top of the animal
the food chain.
Yeah. And when we approached them, I was like, these are just they're not house cats, but they behave very much like house cats. Like they are so lazy. They're licking themselves.
These lions are going to listen to the podcast.
Yeah. And they're like,
Maggie and be like, you said we were lazy. You said we were lazy.
And basically, we never heard lions roar, but our guide was like, listen out for them. And we ended up, it was too hot one night to leave our door open or like our screen open and our window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we wanted to hear the lions roar because apparently it's like 40 seconds long. And it's like to assert like, hey, this lion pride is here, because other prides can hear like, oh, this is their territory. Like, don't go over there.
Over here.
Exactly. And then in terms of leopards, they are solitary. They are not a part of any sort of, there's no alliances with leopards. But basically, we saw a brother and sister, and I think one of the sisters had caught an impala, pulled it up into a tree, which we also learned that leopards can pull 3 times their body weight and bring their kills into trees to keep it away from hyenas, other lions, and other leopards, but apparently the brother was a lot stronger. But there's no alliances. They do not share. They do not travel in packs. When they keep their babies kind of away from everything and like will obviously take care of the babies until they don't have to at all. But they are very elusive. They're harder to find. But they are so cool to watch. Like every single time we saw them, we saw one, I want to say like 3 times, but they were definitely tough to find.
Oh, wow. And so wait, so the girl leopard brought the impala up in the tree. And then what happened with the brother?
The brother ended up going up there and stealing, and like they got into a little tussle about it. And we have like a video of like, you can see the sister getting like super panty. One, we think she just had a very full belly, but she was also very upset that her brother was eating her kill, because it's not a guaranteed when they're going to eat next. Like on average, they said it was like every 3 days, but they could go up to 14 days without a kill.
Oh
so
my
they
gosh.
always have to make sure they're eating as much as
And
they
they're
can.
full.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
We also learned
wow.
that hyenas get a bad rap, but they also like are known to eat the scraps, but they also are very good avid hunters.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they just were scavenger.
as well.
You know what? The more you know. The Lion King lied to us. They're not just little jackals laughing.
Yeah.
Laughing in the distance.
We saw one of the most beautiful birds I'd ever seen. It was obviously very hard to take photos of any sort of bird, so we were forced to kind of just live in the moment, look in your binoculars, take it all in, because once it's there, it's going to leave and you're never going to see it again. But we saw, if you can Google, lilac-breasted roller. It is the most beautiful bird that I've ever seen. Apparently one of the most photographed birds in Africa.
Whoa.
Both male and female birds get to look beautiful, because usually
That's a pretty bird.
Oh my gosh.
Usually it's
Pretty
the males
birdie.
that get to look cool, but the females also get to look cool. But look how cool, like very striking.
Oh, wow. It looks like CGI almost. Like it looks fake.
Yeah, a lot of cool birds, especially we were like approaching the end of their dry season, and they still had I can't imagine what the springtime looks like there. But amazing.
Well,
Amazing.
speaking of living in the moment, since we're getting close to the end, what was it like having an unplugged Zach Kornfeld?
Yeah.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was like your big goal for the trip. You guys were going to unplug and
Yeah, it was
live, laugh, love in the moment. How was it?
the first couple of days, that man was still checking his email, which I wanted to strangle him. But by the time we got to Safari, I felt like we were able to fully unplug. One, because like the mornings were so early and we'd have to get up to kind of like set our stuff out and do all the things. The cell service was also very poor. We were trying to check into our flight to leave, and it took like 20 minutes to load one thing.
Whoa.
So we're like, you're kind of forced to kind of unplug anyway. So it was very lovely. And I'm so fortunate that both our jobs allowed us to do it. It was very much worth the wait, because it couldn't be done. Like, it was always a part of the list. I'm glad that we were able to make it happen. And wow. I wish I could go back. I'm already trying to plot my re-trip back, but
Do you have any tips for anyone else that wants to go on safari?
definitely very comfortable shoes. I brought a lot more shoes, and I ended up only wearing one. I wish I had brought like city sneakers. I brought like Adidas Sambas. I was like, guys, I probably should have had like better shoes. They did the trick, but I was shocked at the amount of time that I actually wore sneakers and not anything else. Binoculars were definitely key. The guides do have their own binoculars there, but it's not something that you want to kind of steal from them the entire time. So definitely having your own binoculars. Zach and I had like a big pair that was rather heavy, and we'd switch off, and I had a lighter pair that had good magnification but weren't as hard to hold. Because they do get, like, when you're watching something, I'm like, my arms are starting to hurt. Like, switch out for the smaller one. So I did that. We thought you had to be there was strict rules with the colors that you could wear. Obviously, you want to like blend in. You don't want to wear like anything too outrageous and bright red and things like that. But most things went. Like, I ended up wearing things that I didn't intend to, because the chain, like, it was hard to pack, and I thought that most of the time during the safari, it was going to be cooler, but it ended up being hot. So I was wearing kind of what I had brought. Pack light if you can. I ended up buying laundry sheets that dissolved into soap. We ended up having to do like one set of underoos laundry because it was like $275 to do each pair of underwear. So I was like, I'm just going to do it in the sink. So I bought just some laundry sheets and dissolved the soap and kind of shook it up and let them dry, overlooking the elephants, which was magical.
They aired out with the elephants.
Offline maps I loved, and having places starred. We used kind of a website for restaurant reviews in the area, all the areas that we went to. We used Infatuation. There's like an app that has like little write-ups from food critics and food writers, which was very helpful. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was gifted these they look like denim. They're sweatpants for the airport.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Which were very, very comfortable.
That is interesting to me
Yeah.
in a big way.
I hate denim.
Yeah.
I feel like my denim always shrinks, or maybe I just get rounder, but that's fine. But I just don't love denim anymore. And now
Are those them?
no, they're
Okay.
sweatpants.
I was like,
They're
those look a
sweatpants.
lot like
I was like,
denim.
those look a lot like
No.
denim.
No, they're sweatpants.
They're sweatpants.
Oh, those
And it
are
looks
them.
like-
Those are them. Yeah, she might
Oh my
guess.
gosh.
Yeah. I love these for
Wow.
airport. I love these for day to day.
Okay, come here. Let us all pull them. Let us
Yeah.
all touch them.
Yeah.
We'll throw a link in bio. Oh my God. That is so funny.
Oh my gosh.
They are sweatpants.
That
they
is
from?
so cool.
They were a gift. They were rag and bone, so they are an
okay.
investment.
That is a hack.
They're great.
That is a hat. Rainie, I feel like you'd actually love them.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm like, this is sort of an investment.
And
This is Rainie's fall outfit.
Yeah.
I purposely
when the running shorts have to leave. Because you could still wear the same like athletic tops.
yeah,
but
with that, I mean, I feel
those
like
sweatpants.
Yeah.
You can wash them, but they say air dry flat. And then I think I sized
Interesting.
down.
Oh,
Because-
size down.
Size down because they're cotton, so they're not going to shrink that much. But just
Huh.
read the sizing instructions because it did tell.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was sized down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
Love.
Yeah.
Rainie and I are going to be like
I know, I'm
Googling after this.
Oh, and then
We're all going to walk in with the same pants.
External battery was very helpful. Make sure you don't check it into your luggage every single time we would go.
Oh,
You have to
yeah.
pull it out and make sure it's with you. I'm trying to think. Those were like my main things. And then pull out money at the ATM. Don't do the money exchange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, through like especially if you can do it at the airport, because you know those ATMs aren't like the ones that are put there and have like crazy fees.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Maggie,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing your beautiful honeymoon with us.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see the pictures on the
I
gram.
can go on and on and on. I just want to relive it.
It
Every
sounds so fun.
It was
Yeah.
I'm
so
sort of like,
fun.
do I need to go immediately?
Definitely
go
a
on
bucket
safari?
list item.
Yeah.
Put it on there. It was
100%.
incredible. Yes. And it just like we were talking with a lot of like there was like a UK couple who shared a van with us and was telling us how they had gone to a couple of the national parks within the US. And Zach and I are like, oh yeah, we should go to more national parks in the US. The US has cool parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were showing us their pictures. I was like, you know what? There's so much world to explore. Like when Zach and I travel, we don't really love going to cities just because we are always city.
Yeah.
So yeah, to more
So
nature,
fun.
to more
To
animals.
more nature. Well, on that note, Mags, you want to take us away?
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate our listeners. There were very like sweet Try Guy fans that like approached us while we were in Cape Town and had really great recommendations as well. So want to thank everyone, all the fans. We love you. We love having friends everywhere. Be sure to wash your hands, register to vote, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, tip your servers, and
Pee after sex.
pee after sex.
Don't scare the elephants.
Don't be mindful. Be demure. Zach's so ready for this trend to be over because I keep saying it. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.